Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm a graphic designer, I'm a freelance designer, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about my design process for a brand called ShakeBud. We'll be going through the brief and I'll be showing you my entire design process, my thought process behind it, and how I got to the concept. And hopefully, you guys learn something from this video. And if you like this style of video, let me know in the comments below and we'll do more styles like this. So let's get right in. Feel free to pause this, but this is the brief. So ShakeBud brand, focusing on thick shakes, and it has to be bright, memorable, good feel, like full of flavor and fun. So we have to try and reflect this into the brand and concepts that we make. So this is the focus. So usually when I have a brief, I highlight the main points and the keywords that the client wants to have in their proposal or in their brand. So that when I'm doing the concept stage, this is reflected with the concepts that I come up with. So in this case, it needs to be playful, commercial, simple, and bold, exciting. It needs to have character. So keep those things in mind when you're looking at the concept creation process. So this is the brief, and I'm going to show you my concept. I went to research and design stage. After this, I created one of the concepts that I thought was really strong. From this, I'm going to talk you through the process from the sketch to how I take it to the final stage and improve it every way of the process. So let's get into it. So first, I started by bringing the sketch onto the computer, and then this is the sketch I wanted to go with. As you see, it has two potentials. So number one, it's got like the cup of the brand. So like I really like this because it has a shake in there, and also it has potential for face or character. So you can see here at the top part, you got like the top part of the drink, like it looks some sort of like sunglasses or like shade, and then at the bottom part, you've got a half full cup, also someone smiling. So it could do with some work. So we will tweak it and I'll talk you through the process, how I do this. But let's get into it. So from this, I sketched it and vectorized this concept. So I just vectorized it and then I don't need the sketch anymore. So at this stage, I'll just simply remove the sketch behind it and then try to improve on the concept. Here I could see like some straight lines, and here is like a little bit messy. The smile is like imperfect, and the shades could do some work. It needs to feel more like a drink as well. What I like to do with my style of logos is have two elements in the logo that I make so that it's like memorable and unique to the brand that I'm working with. So in this case, I want to have a face or character as well as a cup. So I'm going to be tweaking this throughout the process. So I go to the next concept. With the way I work as well, it's important that I record every stage of the way. So what I like to do is I like to have arrows and then like work on a different artboard through the process. So this way I could just revert back to the previous version that I worked with, and then when I'm ready to showcase it like this, the client or anyone that I'm trying to show the process, even for myself, I know exactly the concept and the stages that I had to go through to come up with that design, and then I could see the thought process behind it as well. So it's a really good way of working. If you guys don't do that already, I suggest you give it a try and see what you think for yourself. So going to the next stage, I started by tweaking the top part of the shade, like the top part and the sunglasses. I didn't want to really change it too much, but I wanted it to have like waves and like movement, bringing a bit more character in, and then tweaking it all the way through. So in this stage, I'm just tweaking the top part of the sunglasses and then moving on to the next one. I wanted to move the bottom part of the drink as well, so it like has some sort of wave line and a bit more potential to add a bit more character and less empty space in the middle. So then you can see the middle part of it as well, this white line here. I wanted to have it so that you could see where the straw is going, but also brings it to the top part of the drink, covering the sunglasses, the bottom of the sunglasses, and also could potentially be a nose as well. So it has like two purposes. Moving on to the next concept. Here I started creating a line and a separation line for the top part of the drink so that it looks a bit cleaner and easier to follow, so that it separates the two. And I removed the cap line that you could see over here because I wanted to make it a bit more neat, and I can potentially add this later on. So then I started experimenting with having a face into the concept. So in this example, I really like it. It's just a person's face. You can see the cup and also like the shades and the mouth. Now it's coming together really well. I wanted to experiment with different expressions and giving it different vibes. Like, for branding purposes as well, you can have like multiple faces, and depending on like the purpose, you can change it up a little bit. I think this comes in really well for later. For the branding purpose, if you want to have different characters for different like purposes, you can have the character giving like a warning sign, like with this face, for example, or a different vibe later on. You can have that as well. It gives you multiple use of the logo, which I really like. So moving on to the next concept, I started like giving it a different vibe and different friendlier vibe to it. I added a smile, and I just wanted to try out different variations of it to see what works best. So I created the next concept as well. So moving on to the next one, I really like this version, and I wanted to use this version instead because I like the smile. It looks like a cool guy, looks like a buddy, which plays well on the shake bud concept as well. And I gave it a cap as well. So I just extended the line, and that top line of the drink serves two purposes now, which I really like myself, and I think it worked really well. And then moving on to the next concept, this is the final mark that I wanted to go with. I just tweaked the top part of the shade, giving it a line here, and this is the complete final mark that I ended up with, and this was the thought process behind it. Next, we're going to the color and the branding phase, how I just chose what colors I chose and why as well. So I wanted it to be really vibrant, so I went to this color scheme I really like, and it's really vibrant, and these color contrasts has worked really well for this brand. It's a summer drink, so it needs to be vibrant, exciting, high energy, as we read in the brief, and this has worked really well for this purpose. So I chose these kind of color palettes, color scheme, and it's turned out really well, and I'm really happy with it. And this is the final mark that I went with at the end. Next, we need to find the perfect font and typeface we're gonna go with. So I chose the best three that I experimented with, and it just needs to be bold, exciting, and full of energy. So this one, I tried this one. It seemed a bit too bold for the actual icon that we're going with, so I thought it might not work as well. This one looks a little bit too basic, doesn't have that much character. So I went with the middle option overall because it's like a little bit customized, it has a bit more character, and it complements the mark really, really well. So I went with the second option. Overall, I experimented with a lot more variations of typography and experiments, but I chose these three as the final, and the middle one is the one that I like the best. So I went forward with that for it. So here you could see like I stacked up in two different variations, and these are the two variations I went with the final logo. So the center variation and the one on the side, so that it could be used for different purposes depending on how it was needed for the client. I used it so both examples will be put together and put through for the client in different formats as well to use, depending on their use and their need for it. So in this case, I would have something called a brand guideline, which shows you exactly how to use the logo in different mediums and when to use this logo or when to use the second version of the logo, the side one with the font, so that they know exactly what to do and they have a clear understanding on which one to use. Moving on, these are the final illustrations of the logo. So I showed the color palette and the brand colors and represented it in this style. I really like how it's turned out. I added this outline because it's a lot easier to follow, especially on the darker backgrounds. It shows a lot better. The contrast is a lot better, and it just adds a little bit more character to the logo as well. So for the white background, it doesn't need it, but for the black one, I thought to add this because once you invert the shape, it's a lot easier to see. It doesn't really work well with the invert with some logo, so this is a cool trick to use this outline. Like you can see here, if I was just to take this logo and just duplicate it and make this white, for example, just quickly to show you, it doesn't work as well. The invert doesn't work as well. So this is why I added this concept, because it works a lot better. So moving on to the next one. This variation has turned out well as well. So here I started creating some mockups and some different ways so that the client can see it working in that environment that they need it in. This way, I really recommend doing this because it really seals the deal of the concept that you want to go with, and it verifies the use of the logo that you have decided to go with. Without this, the client usually gets really confused and doesn't know why they should go with this concept. So I would suggest spending some extra time and creating some mock-ups so that they could see it clearly and they're able to see the vision a lot better, because once you show them, like, you could use it exactly like this, and this is the brand, they can even use these slogans and the color scheme for their branding as well, and they will use them on social media, and it works wonders for them. And it also helps you verify the concept and the logo that you've spent so much time trying to come up with and done all the research. So I would suggest doing this because it shows them instantly why this logo works and why they should use it, why this is the best variation of the mark to go with. So I would highly suggest that. So then I went through using appropriate marks and mockups for this. So you can see how, like, I've shown it in a shake and not just something random that has nothing to do with it, the brand itself. So it's important when you're doing mockups, do things that are relevant to the brand so that they could see exactly what they could use it for. So next, I used it in a sticker, and you could see that you could use it on like a takeaway bag. You can seal the takeaway through these stickers, and there's a really cool touch to it as well, and I really like how it's turned out. Next, I did some billboards and display for ads potential, and used good shakes, good vibe slogan for them, so they can really see the color scheme and everything working together. It's come out really well as well. Then I showed some using the same slogan. I added it to the store and used this as a mock-up, how it would look on display as well. Moving on, I showed some glow effect as well. If they come into the shop at nighttime, these lights will light up and it looks really well and unique as well. Using this concept in different mediums really shows them why this variation of the logo and this exact logo icon and typeface works really well together, and why we chose this direction for it. Moving on, I did some extra mock-ups so that it really seals the deal. They could show, like, potentially if they have their own delivery driver uniform, they can have their bag color palette as well, shown with the logo example here. Same thing with the food. So the food is secondary things that they sell for this brand. So I showed it on like burger, fries, shake, sauces, and napkins, so that they could see like the complete branding and the color scheme working all in action. So this was the full concept. We will quickly go back to the proposal and make sure that it fits perfectly, everything highlighted, and why this concept was really strong. So this is the project brief again. So Shake Buds is a bold, feel-good beverage brand built around thick cakes, smoothies, summer drinks, and high-energy everyday experiences. And we definitely were able to illustrate that within the project and the brief, the mark and logo and icon that we came up with. So I'm really happy that this has fit the brief really well. It's playful, commercial, simple, bold, recognizable. So it's really friendly, and I'm really happy with how this has turned out. It feels premium enough, not too like childish, and it's bright and youthful as well. So when you're doing the brief, make sure that the logo that you come up with has fit the brief perfectly before you go ahead and present it to the client. And if you need any help with coming up with a concept or a logo for a project, or have any questions, please ask in the comments below. If you want to utilize my services, click the first link in the description, and I'll be more than happy to see if you're a good fit, and potentially work on a project together and see how I can help you in any way possible. If you guys enjoyed this video, click the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for spending some time and watching my YouTube video. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you very much.